Welcome back to WHHI News. Hey, who doesn't like a little free financial advice? I certainly do. And here to help us out is Steve Gaito of the Retirement Resource Group via Zoom. Hi, Steve.
Hey, how you doing today?
Very well. Let's talk about these times that we're in right now. There is uncertainty with the stock market, volatility, inflation, etc. What advice do you give to people right now?
Well, it's a challenging time to be sure. And one of the things I always try to help people understand is that retirement is not about assets, it's about income. And very few people really stop to think about that. But if you look at your lifetime, you've gone through your whole life with a paycheck coming in either weekly, monthly, however you were paid, and things worked out well. You were able to buy your house, you're able to pay your bills, send your kids to college, and set aside a little bit of money. And so all of a sudden retirement comes and you're like, okay, now I got to live off this portfolio, which is subject to market volatility, which we're seeing, which is subject to inflation that we're seeing, which is subject to income taxes. And anytime one of those goes off the rails, people get very frustrated about retirement.
Well, frustrating is certainly scary. I know before we started this, you quoted me a statistic about folks who are retired being worried right now, right? What was that statistic you told me?
56% of people are having a hard time sleeping because of what's going on right now. And that number is scary to me as a planner because the industry, I think, has it upside down. You know, if you don't create income, and income starts with things that people don't think about. It starts with Social Security. Social Security is the backbone of retirement planning. And so, you know, understanding how Social Security works and how you're able to get the most out of it. Social Security's got a cost of living adjustment, and there are some challenges with Social Security down the road, but it is the foundation of income. And from there,
go ahead. No, please.
From there, you want to be sure that you create an income plan that you can't outlive. And when you start to recreate that paycheck coming in every single month, it gives you a lot more certainty than, you know, a portfolio that drops 25%.
Okay, now here's the only thing I know about as far as income generating. Maybe if I have a portfolio, I want to make sure I have stocks that pay dividends. That would be a source of income. What other things could people look to if they're retired when they're planning that would provide an income?
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, if I think about my parents, for example. My dad worked for IBM for 30 plus years, and he had a pension. And that was Social Security provided them with a lot of security. And a lot of people don't think about things like annuities that can give them that guaranteed income for the rest of theirs and their spouse's life. And, you know, it just simplifies the thing by creating an income stream that you can't outlive.
Boy, you know what though, Steve, how many companies these days offer retirement or pensions? I mean, that's, and people are moving from job to job to job. So I would think that might not be as an available option for people these days who are planning.
And so you have to create your own pension. And, you know, there's a gap between what Social Security provides and what your budget. And that's the other key part is understanding what you need as far as expenses and your spending plan. And then covering that gap. It's really not that difficult to create a gap that, you know, make sure that every single month you've got that income coming in like a pension. And that's really what annuities are used for. Annuities are abused out there. There are people that use them for the wrong reasons. They are a great source of income. And some of the new ones that are out there right now that are tied to indexes give you some inflation protection. They can provide you with some long-term care protection. Those are the things that you don't get with a stock portfolio.
Steve, let's talk about long-term care. You know, first of all, it's very difficult to get these days. It's not cheap. And secondly, people that have had it for a few years, because I think insurance companies are not making money on it, the policy will go from one company and be sold off to another, et cetera, et cetera. Is it still possible to get long-term care insurance, and what does the landscape look like?
Yeah, the traditional long-term care plans are going away. But there are a lot of unique ways that you can actually address long-term care. I mentioned annuities earlier. One of the annuities that I use quite frequently in my plans has a benefit that doubles the income for up to 5 years should you have a long-term care event. So if you've got $30,000 a year coming in from an annuity and you have a long-term care event, that's $60,000 coming in for 5 years. For a lot of people, that covers the gap that they need. Other ways
Go ahead. I have to already say goodbye to you, but will you come back and tell us more next time?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to.
All right. Steve Gaito from Retirement Resource Group, thank you so much for joining us on WHHI News. Thanks, Steve. When we come back, we'll find out about big band music that'll help you swing into summertime.